I have a special guest. Her name is Mckinney Smith. I am so drawn to her story, and I'm so excited for us to dig in tonight and speak with her. I'm just looking forward to picking her brain and her sharing with everyone. I know that you will absolutely be blessed by everything that she has to pour out to you tonight. So Mckinney Smith is born and raised in Canada.
Yes, ma'am.
Say hello to everyone, Makini.
Hey.
So I read in your background that you lost your sister a little while ago. And I wanted to know, for those who are grieving, how did you cope with her loss?
So my sister passed away in 2012. And in the way that she passed away was a little bit abnormal. She was healthy. She wasn't feeling well on a Sunday after church and went to emergency to, get evaluated. They kept her overnight for evaluation, and she went into cardiac arrest, and they induced her coma. And they said they were going to wake her up in 20 to 24 hours. She wouldn't wake up, and slowly went down. We held on. We were in prayer. We were there with her every single day for 3 weeks until they legally declared her no longer with us. So my entire family, we took it really hard as a group, and my sister was the hub of the family. She kept us all together. She was the mama bear. So when she passed away, all of us took it extremely hard. For myself, I have to be honest, for 6 months I couldn't function effectively. As an entrepreneur, my business shut down. My kids kind of suffered a little bit. I had, people that would bring us food and try and be there and take care of us, but it was hard at first. I had to go through the grieving process, and it wasn't until about 6 months in, dealing with the depression, post-traumatic stress, all of that, where I started to think, how would she want us to remember her? And with a flood of messages from other people of the impact that she had on their lives, people were regularly messaging me saying, your sister was so motivating. I loved her positive messages on social media. She messaged me beautiful things late at night. Just hearing that, I thought, how do I want to be remembered? And that changed my grieving process. Instead of being stuck in my own emotions of hurt and being angry, because temporarily I was angry with God. I had to flip those emotions and understand that my sister was a strong person, and for what she meant to people here on earth, maybe he had a better position for her up in heaven. There was so many different ways I had to change my perspective and look at how I want to be remembered, and I started doing things differently in honor of her, to remember her, to show my love for her. So that completely flipped how I dealt with losing her. And unfortunately, within 12 months of that happening, my grandmother passed away in a similar fashion. And she was another person who was my core. She helped raise me since I was in kindergarten. And losing her in the same way, her being in a coma for 2 weeks until she passed away, it was like deja vu. And I remembered how the grieving process with my sister, I took that and said, I'm not going to wait so long to allow myself to heal. And I kind of started doing all the positive things quicker. And I was able to heal from that a lot faster.
So I think it's absolutely beautiful that you saw the impact that your sister had, and you wanted to continue her legacy of having a positive impact on others. I think that is amazing. And there's no better way to honor her than doing what she was doing for others. Since our topic tonight is overcoming adversity through faith, where did faith play a role? And I feel like what you said was extremely real, that you were angry at God. Some people are even afraid to express that, but those are real emotions. And it happens.
Real with you.
We've all been in places where we're like, God, really? Like, really? This is what's really going on right now? Yeah. So how did you get back on track as far as your faith walk during your grieving process? Like, what was the shift, or what were the specific things that took place?
During my grieving process, at the start of it, people would say stuff like everything happens for a reason. And like I said, in that moment, I was angry with God. So I started getting angry with people that would say that. And I'm like, God took my sister from me. She was my best friend. She was my supporter. She was my lawyer. She did everything for me. What do you mean everything happens for a reason? So I was angry, and I would still continue to go to church because it was my sister that got me going to church. But when I was there, I was in such a state of devastation that I would just cry the whole time. I had times where I went up to the altar for prayer and I'm on my face on the floor because I could not stop crying. I couldn't control it. And my presence at church started to feel like a connection to my sister, spiritually. And going on Sundays, it was like, okay, I can still feel her. This is where we connected. This is where we were together. And just in that process, I started to pay more attention. I grew up going to church, but I wasn't, I wouldn't say necessarily a church girl. I wouldn't say at all that I was a church girl. And I was present, but I wasn't present. So after losing my sister and divorce and stuff, I started to pay attention in church. And I guess losing my sister forced me to really look at what was she getting from this? Why was she such, an amazing person? What was God saying to her that I wasn't hearing? And I started making an effort to listen and to pay attention to what the pastor was saying, his interpretation of the word, and how I could live that out throughout my life.
Okay, so I think that's awesome. And I want to be extremely sensitive with my next question. But based on what you just said, do you feel that you would have been able to, or would have been seeking out that connection with God had it not been for your sister's passing? What if possibly that was her purpose, to cause you to connect with him in such a way?
It's funny you asked that question, because a lot of things that I've been able to do in life, or that I've pursued in life, I feel I've only done because my sister is no longer here. My sister was, like I said before, she was my voice. She was my security. She was my everything. So I was forced to find my own voice. So her passing changed who I am today. I may not have pursued all the things that I pursued till, up until today, if it wasn't for my sister not being here. So it's possible that her not being here also, I guess brought me closer to God, because I needed to find, why everyone was like, everything happens for a reason. Well, I need to find out what is that reason? Because God, right now, I'm not understanding you.
Wow. That is so powerful. And for anyone out there who comes across this, or if you're watching it with us right now, I hope that in everything Makini just said, I hope that it gives you some sort of comfort in this moment to know that if there was a close loved one that you have lost, there's a purpose there. Even though you can't see it, it doesn't feel like it in that moment, especially when it's still fresh and new. And that void will never be filled, but there's a purpose there. And for her to be brought closer to God, and then also to thrive in the way she's doing professionally and in other areas of her life, it's like you literally have a permanent guardian angel with you. And that's so beautiful. Oh, well, you just have all the blessings. But it's just amazing how it's just shaped you in such a beautiful way, because grief can really tear people apart. It really, really can. And you can go either way. You can either stay depressed and just sink, or you can rise, and you've chosen to rise. And I don't know, I'm just very moved by that. Like, wow, like even in death, someone can still have just such a great positive influence on someone. And I think that's awesome. So I do want to go ahead.
I was going to say, even when she passed, because she was such a positive person, when we were planning the funeral, I said, we are not wearing black. She would not want us to wear black. So as a family, we wore white. And, we released doves, and even the reception for the funeral of ours, who was a DJ, I made him, I didn't want to hear no sad songs. She would want us to celebrate her life. We probably had a little bit of a breakdown at the end of the night, but it was beautiful to see, everybody there loving on each other, celebrating her.
Man, I don't know. I'm a mushy person in general, but like even in this moment, like I just feel such a peace and such a calm right now. And it's just, I don't know, it's like a little weird, like, wow, like, sister, are you here with us? Because it's like a peace that's come over since you've been talking about her. And you're welcome here, of course. It's just, I don't know. I'm very moved by this story. I love it. So I did want to ask you one more thing regarding grief. What are maybe 5 tips you can give to those who are grieving or have been grieving and just don't know how to get over the hump?
Wow. Number 1, you need to take care of yourself. Please go in the process of grieving. You know, I didn't want to shower. I didn't want to comb my hair. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to do anything. But would your loved one want you suffering? And life still goes on after they're gone. So you need to make sure that you're taking care of number 1, yourself to go through the process. It's, you know, there's a process of feelings that you have to experience. Allow yourself that, but in any one stage. You know, you're gonna stop there, but don't stay there. Another say is be gentle with yourself. Probably my own worst critic, and I'm extremely hard on myself with everything. But I had to learn to be gentle with myself. I was angry. I was a lot of things, but I had to learn to take it easy on myself. I didn't go further and deeper into depression. Another one, ask for help. I'm a strong person and I have trouble asking for help, but the people that did reach out to help me, like, they probably, you know, as much as I've said thank you to them, they don't realize how much that made a difference to me. So having people just ask you if you're okay. Sometimes you don't even want to answer them. You don't want to talk about it, but just to know that, you know, there's somebody that cares. And also in that sense of asking for help, you know, I needed help with the kids. I was a single mom at 3. So I had to learn to ask for help and tell people, like, I'm having a heavy emotional day right now. You know, I have a friend who was very helpful, and, you know, he would come and take the kids out for ice cream or take them to the mall just to give me a minute, so I could reset. I don't know if that was 5, but.
Oh, no. You are perfect. And everything you said was in line with the direction that everyone is moving into, which is pro self-care and pro like mental health awareness. And that's why I asked you that question, because I want people to know it's okay to feel like crap. Do not beat yourself up because you're having a low moment. And like you said, be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself during those moments, because sometimes, I know that some people who've lost a loved one, it will turn into what could I have done in that moment? Maybe if I would have done this, and then it just turns into a whirlwind of blaming yourself and beating yourself up and feeling like you should have done more or didn't do enough in the moment. And I think everything that you said will cause someone to sit back and be like, okay, I do need to ask for help. I have been carrying everything on my shoulder. And, you know, I'm a strong woman with you. And there's so many strong women out there as well who have a hard time just saying, I need help. And guys out there, it is okay. If you need help, please don't be afraid to ask someone and tell someone that you do. We have this idea in our minds that if we don't carry all of the weight or we don't do everything, you know, that somehow we're weak, or, you know, we don't have it all together and we don't want people to see that vulnerable side. Forget all that. Yeah. Your mental health is so important, and you caring for yourself is so important. And there are more people out there that love you than what you think. So please don't be afraid to reach out, just as Makini said. And thank you for answering that, because I really want people to know. Please take care of yourself. Do not turtle. Because me and my family members, we call it turtling, when you just disappear and we don't see you for a while and we're like, hey, what's going on? No, please don't turtle. Please do whatever's necessary, even if that's also therapy as well, if you feel that you can't get over the hump. I'm a big, huge mental health advocate, and I just wanted to make that very, very clear. Like, please take care of yourself if you're grieving. It's okay to feel all those feelings, and it's okay to be sad, but, you know, We just don't want you to stay there. We want you to be here with us and be healthy and happy. But you did mention that you were a single mother of 3. So that kind of segues into my next set of questions. Was there any judgment, or did you ever feel any judgment as a teen mother? And at what age did you have your first child as a teen?
Okay, so yes, I had my first child at 17. I was with my daughter's father. I mean, we started dating before my 15th birthday, and we were together for 8.5 years. So it wasn't like I was, promiscuous or whatever. It was, we were in a relationship. So I had her at 17, and there was a lot of judgment. I mean, when I was 17, I looked like I was 12. So from the school, from my peers, from strangers in the street, I could get on the bus with my pregnant stomach, and they would side-eye me and look me up and down. The society was not nice.
So how did you transition during that phase? Because I know there are other teen moms out there, you've overcome so much. Look at where you are now. You are an author. Some people feel like life stopped for them once they became a teen mom because they could not deal with or bear the judgment, and they still hear those voices to this day, and it's kind of paralyzed them, if you know what I mean. So how are you able to overcome all of that judgment and the perception that others had of you to continue to push through to where you are now?
I believe strong mindset plays a role in it. I'm a little hard-headed, I would say, where I don't care what other people think of me. That really doesn't determine who I am. So when people were looking at me, giving me side-eye, thinking that, I'm just some little young girl running around in the streets, I knew that that's not who I was. So my mindset, I guess, towards how they were looking at me, I was like, I don't care what you think of me. So my strong will to even get past that, I have this wall sometimes that comes up, and sometimes I feel like it makes me feel like I'm invincible. I could tell you stories of things that I did. When I look back, I'm like, what were you thinking? But just the mindset that I can do anything. I didn't want to be a statistic. I knew that. I didn't want to be, the teen mom who ends up on welfare, who doesn't progress in life, who doesn't do anything. I definitely wanted to be a contributing member to society, and I knew that I wasn't going to let me getting pregnant hinder me from progressing in life. So I stayed in school up until I was a couple hours into labor. I went to class in a snowstorm with contractions, and I went right back to school. I made sure, I went straight as soon as I could, put my daughter in childcare, and finished getting my credits, and continued on, went to college and did what I had to do.
One thing that I can definitely relate to is the strong will, but everybody does not have that strong will. And I just wanted to say, I personally feel like, and as you were saying, everything starts in our minds, guys. I'm huge on affirmations and positive self-talk and positive thinking. And as Makini was saying, even as a teenager, she already adopted having that mindset. So whatever you're dealing with now, whatever you're going through now, whatever you're thinking in your mind, oh man, this is going to be a horrible day. Oh man, this is going to suck. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. I can't do this. I won't do this. It's going to manifest itself every single time. So I just want to say, as far as Makini overcoming the struggles of being a teen mom, or just the judgment of being a teen mother and getting to where she is today, it starts in the mind. And I know it's easier said than done because of the discipline.
Whatever you believe becomes your reality. My perception is my reality, and your perception is your reality. We may not have the same perception. Mm-hmm. So whatever you believe, that becomes your reality.
What are your tips on creating your own reality? How do you change your perception from a negative to a positive, since we're talking about this? How do you do that?
One thing is repetition. So my mentor, Bob Proctor, he's very big on repetition. So if I have, let's say I want to change a certain habit, you have to replace that habit with something else. And the best way to create a new what's the word I'm looking for? The best way to create something new is, sorry, I'm like mixing up my words here. The best way to get rid of an old model is to create a new one, right? So things like affirmations on repetition. If I believe that I am, I don't know, a horrible speaker, and every single day in the morning, if I write down, you know, I'm happy and grateful that I'm a confident speaker. I've done it before where it changes your perception. I was terrified of public speaking before 3-4 years ago. You would never get me to even stand in front of 5 people and talk about anything. And I had to do that with the affirmations to change my perception of myself.
And I just peeped the Bob Proctor, you know, I'm happy and great. I peeped it. Oh my God, by the way, on your free time, please look up Bob Proctor. He is absolutely amazing. Actually, my sweet baby cousin. Hi, Kiki. Not the Kiki that they keep singing about, but hi. But please look up Bob Proctor and his affirmations. That stuff, I mean, that's what got me started. I think, yeah, that is what got me started on affirmations a couple of years ago, and just hearing that repetition constantly, because they have the recordings on YouTube that you can listen to, because I was just going through a time where I really had to get out of the rut, and I had to literally feed my brain positive things from finances and everything else. Like Bob Proctor, he's the man for sure.
He has changed my entire life. Like, I don't know if you know this, but I'm one of his consultants. So
okay.
Like, he lives here in Toronto. He is like one of my mentors that I see and work with. And through Proctor Gallagher Consulting, which is his business, I'm one of the consultants that do his training programs, coaching programs.
Oh, and I think I forgot to mention that Mckinney Smith is a personal development coach and an author, guys. I got ahead of myself because I wanted to dig into this interview so badly, and I was so excited to talk to her. I forgot to say what she does. So yeah, she's a personal development coach. And of course, in the description, all of her links are there to contact her, to reach out to her, book her, whatever it is that you want to do as well. My apologies, Makini. I was just too excited to talk to you. So you mentioned, upon your sister's passing, you were also dealing with a divorce. I am also a divorcee, and I'm recently divorced. What caused your marriage to end? And how did you also get through that? Because it seems like you had layers of things going on kind of at the same time, like a bunch of stuff, you know, falling apart or seemingly falling apart all at once. How did your marriage end? And how did you also get through that? Okay,
so I was with my ex-husband for 8.5 years as well. So I had 2 8.5-year relationships back to back. Anyway, so the marriage ended. We were growing apart. For sure. And I think that when we got together, I didn't know who I was. And I was really, I don't want to say under his control, but I'm sure there are women who understand when you're in a relationship that is toxic. I was verbally and emotionally abused, and I left when he put his hands on me. So my decision to end the marriage, I mean, I felt like I wanted to leave, and that was just the last straw for me. And when I filed for a divorce, that's when I became a full-time entrepreneur. So I went straight from being a married woman who is a stay-at-home mom to filing for a divorce and being a single mom, full-time entrepreneur.
So first of all, you're a boss. First of all, and you're incredibly strong. I want you to pass some of that strength on to our viewers really quick. For those that are involved in toxic relationships, you know, that was the last straw for you, right?
Yeah.
So what can you tell women out there who they feel like they have no options? They feel like they can't move, that they can't do anything. What can you tell them to encourage them to leave the situation that they know is not helpful to them? What is the question about?
So here's the thing. Okay, God is in control, but he gives us the ability to make decisions. So we always have options, but sometimes we choose the option that we're most comfortable with, and the option that we know.
Mm.
So when I left, I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom. I wasn't working. I didn't have any money. People are like, what are you doing? Like, maybe you should stay until you have an exit plan. I'm like, no, I'm exiting. Like, so it's either you leave and you figure it out, or you stay, and God only knows what will happen if you stay. So I left.
And I like how you said, I'm just exiting, period. And I know for a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, you know, I have kids with this person, or they have all the money, or they won't let me leave, or whatever the case may be. Even in my situation, ladies, I was also a stay-at-home mom too. And I had to quickly, you know, I found a job and I just started, you know, moving along. And it is very, very possible. And if you take the first step, God will take the other steps with you. He absolutely will. And it is really a faith journey to take the leap and do what's best for you. You know what I mean? You don't want to stay in hell, do you? If you have an exit out of hell, you know, exactly. Once you exit hell, things will only go up from there. And even though it's going to be an emotional ride to healing and recovery, you can do it. So if you are in a relationship right now, definitely, I mean, all abuse is horrible, but definitely where someone is putting their hands on you, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And I hope that hearing Makini's story encourages you to do so, to get the courage to leave. There are so many options. There are so many options outside of the one that you're currently in right now. And she did it from being a stay-at-home mom and hopped into full-time entrepreneurship with nothing. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. And again, it all starts in the mind. Don't believe the lies that the guy has been feeding you, that you'll never be anything and all this other stuff. Forget that. You can do it. You are capable.
And that's all I was hearing. I said, that's what I dealt with. That's all I was hearing in my head, that I wasn't any good, that no one's going to want me and 3 kids, that, you know, they try the mind game. They try to break you down so you feel like if you do leave, then what's going to happen? Yeah. But it's strengthening your mind to realize, you know, they feed you that to try and cripple you.
So we're segueing beautifully, by the way, because everything leads to the next thing. So I wanted to know, how can women get back to love for themselves after enduring so many hardships and setbacks? How do you get back to loving yourself, or start loving yourself, period? Because maybe, you know, you never knew how to love yourself. How can we get to a place of love after dealing with so many issues in our lives? How do we make ourselves a priority?
Well, I mean, I list a whole bunch of them in my first book, but a major thing is self-care. And I had to make time for me, because if, as a single mom, as a mom, you're under a lot of pressure as it is. So I had to make time to do things for me. And at first I used to feel guilty, because I was the type where I did everything for my husband, I did everything for my kids, and I put myself on the back burner. So it was learning to put me first, because if I'm not okay, then I'm not going to be good for anybody else. So I set times, you know, spa times and times alone, time to read, I just set Makini time so that I could be okay. And then slowly I started enjoying that a little bit. I'm not going to say a bit too much, but I started being able to do other things for myself. So then I started, you know, taking pride in my self-image and things like that, and just learning to love me again.
And I wanted to ask also, a part of, I'm a spiritual person. Whatever your religious background is, doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. I feel like I have a universalist approach to spirituality, but that's a whole nother story. But I wanted to know, how does faith play a role in overcoming adversity and also the healing process? How do you tie all those in together for those that are watching?
Okay, so sorry, repeat that part again. How does
faith, or how did faith play a role for you, or how can it play a role in overcoming adversity and in the healing process?
Faith played a huge role for me. I mean, I believe it's the second commandment that says, love your neighbor as you love yourself, which basically means you need to love yourself first. And understanding the word so that I'm living it on a daily basis. Certain things within the word that say that we should have certain things, that we should be certain things. So it wasn't looking down on myself saying, you know, I'm whatever I was being told. It's understanding that I am a queen, that I am royalty, that I do belong to a kingdom, that, you know, I deserve all kinds of things, and understanding through the word what I deserve.
How can our viewers tap into their own relationship with God? Do you have any tips to give them? Let's say they're new to faith, or, you know, don't have that relationship at all. How can they start to nurture and explore a relationship with God, or faith in general, on their own? How can they get started on that path, since it's such an important piece to healing and overcoming?
I think everyone's spiritual journey is different. For me, it was a place of solitude. I needed to be alone, and I needed to engulf myself in you know, researching for myself, other than what I was told growing up or what I hear from other people. Because oftentimes other people's perception of the word, or what a Christian is, or whatever, can taint other people's view of that. So I had to do my own research. And I think we all evolve differently. So I think there's no one way to say how somebody should do anything, especially when it comes to spirituality. You know, some people come closer to God after something tragic, like myself. Some people, you know, come closer to God because they're looking for something. It just depends on where you are in life and what you're looking for. But I think doing your own research and getting into it for yourself is a big part of it.
Good deal. Since you are a personal development coach, what can people expect if they were to book a session with you? What are the things that you offer, or how do you assist people in their journeys as a personal development coach?
So as a personal development coach, we help people really tap into their full potential. Most people are living at, 10% of their potential. We have so much untapped potential within us. So it's helping you to first figure out what your goals are, what your purpose is, and how to multiply those results with less efforts. The Bible talks about our gifts will make room for us. It's finding out what your gifts are and showing you how to use that and to monetize that and to use that to serve.
So if someone comes to you having zero idea, like, girl, I don't know what my calling is, I have no idea where to get started, you can help them figure out what their purpose is in life.
Yes.
That is amazing. I hope y'all are listening. If you are out there and you've been praying like, Lord, please help me figure out what my purpose and my calling is, she can help navigate you in the right direction to figuring out what that is and building from there. So again, Mckinney's contact information is within the description of this live. Her website, her social media handle. She's very responsive. Please, if you need something from her, please don't hesitate to contact her. And the reason why I'm big on this coaching piece is because so many people feel lost out there and they feel like there are no options. There is no help. And I'm just going to be lost then. No, you have so many wonderful people like Makini or myself who can assist you. And so I just want you guys to tap into the wealth of knowledge that she has and the giftings that she has to show you or assist you or guide you along in your journey, because that's extremely important. Last thing, I want you to tell us about your book, Makini. Tell us the title, tell us all about it and what people can expect.
Okay, so first book, can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first book, The Walk in My Stilettos, How to Get Through the Struggle with Grace. This one is based on my testimony. It's got a fusion of my testimony, scripture, tips and tools on how you can get through adversity, no matter what you're dealing with. And the second book came about, so that's this one. Can you see it here? Mm-hmm. This book came about because of all of the messages and phone calls that I was getting about the first book, that people wanted to know, how are you able to stay so positive after all that you've been through? Like, I need to know. And it's really a collection of affirmations and declarations that I use to get me through that. So it's 111 affirmations to help you heal.
Can you give us 5?
5 affirmations? Sure.
Yeah. Give us 5 straight out of your book, please.
Okay. I am in control of my attitude. I choose happiness. I am a victor, not a victim. My confidence reigns in any setting. Each person I meet is either a blessing or a lesson I needed to learn to grow. I was born to walk this journey. Was that 5?
I would let you keep going because but no, guys, I love affirmations. If you follow me, you know I love affirmations with a passion. So please, affirmations are life changing.
I am obsessed with affirmations. So, I also have the Walk in My Stiletto app that actually sends out an affirmation notification every morning.
I love that.
So this is book number 3. It's hardcover. It's a gratitude journal. It's a year's worth of journaling. And every morning you write down 5 things you're grateful for, the 3 things you're going to focus on for the day, and your 3 affirmations that you're going to focus on. And at the end of the day, you talk about what the highlight of your day was, 2 things you wasted time on, because most times for me that's social media, and 1 thing that you're going to improve on tomorrow. So it's it'll be a collection of your year's greatest moments by the time we're done. And at least, this came out in February, just in time for Valentine's. It is the couples gratitude journal. So this was inspired by my partner, and in it, it's a journal that you use together as a couple. So can you see? On one side for him and on one side for her. And you write down the 3 things you're grateful for the day, 2 things about your partner that you're grateful for, and then your evening reflection is 3 things. Did you do a thoughtful, unexpected action for your partner? Did you have 60 seconds of words of appreciation for your partner, and 60 seconds of kissing? And what did you admire about your partner today? And there's a little section under the bottom for notes. And every week it asks a different reflection question about your relationship, and you can evaluate your relationship, because some people are in a relationship with someone and they feel totally happy, and then they're blindsided when the other person's like, yeah, no, I wasn't happy. Yep. So it keeps you on the same page, and you get to rate your relationship on a weekly basis to kind of say, I am still totally madly in love with you, or we need some work right now. So you're not thrown off, or no surprises.
I love stuff like that. When I say I love, and I'm not even kidding, I love stuff like that. I love activities, and I love things that push people in a positive direction. One thing that I'm very appreciative that is important to you, and that's in all of your books, is the gratitude piece. Yep. Gratitude unlocks everything.
Walk around with things to be grateful for.
Exactly. And when you walk around with a heart of discontentment, you're gonna be miserable. But the more you express gratitude in all things, the more wonderful, positive things are going to come to you. Do you want to talk a little bit about gratitude for the viewers?
Gratitude, like I said, when you are grateful, it gives you more things to be grateful for. I practice gratitude every single day. Not only do I use the regular gratitude journal, but with my partner, I use the other gratitude, the couples gratitude journal. So I'm practicing it on a daily basis, and it makes you appreciate sometimes the things that we take for granted. Something as simple as even being able to get out of bed in the morning, because I used to suffer from fibromyalgia, and getting out of bed in the morning used to be a struggle. So now that I'm healed, I get up, and to me, that's something to be grateful for. So it just makes us look at things differently and appreciate what we have and who we have and why we have them.
I love it. No, I'm serious. I love it. And I'm going to be getting the gratitude journal, because I feel like I could be even better with staying on point and acknowledging what I'm grateful for every single day. I absolutely love that. So now we're going to open it up to our viewers. For those who may have questions for you, If anybody has questions for Makini, go ahead and post them now, and then I'll read them out to her and she will answer them for you. I hope you guys have enjoyed this time thus far. Like, she's been absolutely amazing and a breath of fresh air to us, especially when it comes to grief. I hope that you guys learn something and receive something for your journeys. If you're going through the same thing, I hope that you receive some hope and encouragement today, that you will come out of it and things can get better. In addition to just her story as a whole, you don't have to stay where you are. And the choice that you make, like, leaping is hard, but it's better to leap than to stay stuck. And I mean, just so many powerful lessons and within her testimony. I'm just so happy that you were here with us to share that, Makini. So I'm going to look through the comments to see if there are any questions. Let's see. I think Ebony said earlier, I think when we were talking about getting help for grief or reaching out to someone, I think I saw her post that sometimes it's a fear of judgment. So Ebony, correct me if I'm wrong, you can definitely correct me in the comments, but I think possibly Ebony may have the question of how do you conquer the fear of being judged? Because sometimes, and that's a natural thing for it to hinder you from wanting to get the help that you need, or from seeking someone, or saying, hey, I need you right now, or can you help me in this situation? I have a heavy load at this time. Like, how can you get over the fear of judgment?
I'm going to say a combination of things that I learned from my mentor, Bob Proctor, where, oftentimes we look at things and we're projecting that energy this way when we should be projecting it that way. So whether it be, asking for help or standing on a stage to speak, like, our focus is like, what are people going to say about me? What are people thinking about me? And when we take that energy and bring it this way, we're hindering ourselves. And that's where the fear and anxiety and all that stuff comes from. We need to project it the other way. Another thing that he says is, people don't think. If you listen to what they say or you look at their actions, they will show you and tell you that they don't think. So why are you concerned with what they're going to think? If you need help, ask for it. And the person if someone is going to judge you because you've asked for help, that's for them to deal with, and for them to answer to God about, for turning you away for asking for help. And another thing, asking for help does not mean that you are weak. It means that you want to remain strong. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with asking for help. And if you ask someone for help and they're judging you based on that, that's a sign right there to help weed out who's supposed to be around you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sophia has a question. She says, as an entrepreneur, do you have a fear of what tomorrow may or may not bring for your business? And as a single mom.
Do I have a fear of what entrepreneurship may or may not bring?
Yeah, like, it seems like she's saying maybe like if things just fell apart tomorrow, like, do you ever fear or worry or be concerned that this may work out, this may not work out in your entrepreneurship journey?
So one thing that we teach within the coaching is you can put yourself in a chaotic vibration if you can't, how do I say this? You can't have faith and fear at the same time. You're kind of like confusing the spirit. You know what I mean? So I can't say that I have fear. I don't know. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 10 years now? What year are we? 2018. So since 2009, I've been my own boss. I have figured it out. You know what I mean? I took that leap of faith. I jumped straight into entrepreneurship. And I don't know if it's because I have these kids to raise and these mouths to feed, why I'm so dedicated to make it work. But even when times do get rough, it's like, okay, time to get back to the drawing board and figure it out. You know, if you look at my entrepreneurial journey over the last 8 years, I haven't necessarily been in one lane that entire time. I do have multiple sources of income, but you know, I did real estate full time for 6 years. And then when I started doing the books, I started getting paid to speak and do other things. And then that led to mentoring, and that led to coaching. So it leads to new opportunities. It's once we live in the moment and focus on being of service, the money comes, because money is a reward for service. So sometimes we're looking at, oh my God, how am I going to make this money? How am I going to make these ends meet? And sometimes I have been guilty of that. But that's like sitting in front of an empty fireplace saying, give me the heat. Like, we have to put the wood into the fireplace and light it in order to get the heat. So if I'm in a place of lack, then that means I'm doing something wrong. So for every situation, I look at what am I doing and how can I improve that? So I'm constantly evolving. So my business and my entrepreneurial journey is constantly evolving. Does that make sense?